All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another cast. This one's actually going to be a review, not a live game. I missed the V5 Ultra Prime series the other day, and I've been meaning to watch it. Since it's over, obviously, I do know that final game score was 2-1, V5 winning the matchup ultimately. However, I was a bit shocked to see Ultra Prime take a game. I don't know which game it is between game 1 and 2, so I figured I'd just review through all three, see how Ultra Prime manages to take a game off of V5. They are slumping a little bit towards the end of this regular season, but still an impressive victory for them, and maybe a nice little boost to their morale as the season comes to an end, but a disappointing one for them. Luckily, since I'm reviewing this and not casting at 2 a.m., I think I can talk at a more normal volume, and I figured I'd give Draft a shot just to see how things played out. Blue side bands, we have Azir, Kalista, and Trundle. Red side band, Draven, Gwen, and let's see what they're going to go for here. Poppy. All right. I had a feeling that might be the band to come through. Trundle and Poppy being taken out means two of the higher meta junglers are out. We've seen a lot of priority for Talia by Rookie this split. He's really been playing a lot of Talia and Silas. E5 seem to highly value the skirmishing and roaming abilities of those two. Zeri is also an equally strong spot. I suspect if Ultra Prime do indeed end up taking it, V5 might respond with just a Sivir lock-in. They seem to be just miles ahead of every other AD carry in the game at this point. It is the Zeri lock-in for Ultra Prime. They were hovering the Wukong. Wukong still is fairly strong. He's not quite in that upper echelon, but with the Poppy ban, he's a lot stronger. There's the Sivir traded back for V5. They could just lock in support here, and they do. They go for a Yuumi pick. Ultra Prime could also just respond. They know what the enemy bot lane is. Locking another enchanter is a fine trade. Both of these teams setting up for powerful teamfight comps. The top lane, I would expect fairly standard picks to be coming through. Gwen's already banned, so Gnar, Sejuani seem to just be the flavor of the month. We'll see if those end up coming through or not. I do think Grogastop is exceptionally strong on 12-14. I haven't quite seen him picked in any of the games that I've been watching. It will be the Vi band for Ultra Prime. They're looking to narrow down this jungle pool, get a solid matchup for Hacker. I actually really like Ultra Prime's draft at the current stage. I don't think Yuumi is as strong as she is when Yuumi dominates metas. And I actually think Lulu's in a pretty good spot. Sivir and Zeri, I think, are both really, really strong. But I think Wukong is such a disgusting teamfight champ, and his ability to buy space is really critical for an AD carry like Zeri. It allows her to rack up her charges on her ultimate at the start of a fight and then just run and gun and tear through an entire enemy team. Lissandra ban for Ultra Prime, I wouldn't be surprised if they honestly took the Silas. I think that champion is really strong. Ari is also a reasonable pick. I hope they don't lock in Ryze. Ryze is... Yes, you have another global ultimate to follow Talia around, but I think the champion is just so weak. He's been nerfed, and his items have been nerfed over and over again for several patches. They do end up locking it in, so we'll see how the mid matchup ends up playing out. Let's see. Jungle Pool has been nailed down. Xin Zhao, I think, is an acceptable pick. It does mean that V5, aside from the Xin Zhao ultimate, lack a true frontline. They could lock in Ornn or Sejuani here if they want just a full tank for the Sivir Yuumi. And with the Sejuani pick, I highly expect to see Ornn traded back. The Mordekaiser would be a fun counter pick, especially with Zoom in the top lane. But given just the nature of their team comp, I expect to see this Ornn locked in. So we have two strong team fighting comps here. Ultra Prime obviously just wants to scale, safely reach those ornaments, and let Wukong buy space for Zeri in team fights. V5 needs to step on the gas a little bit. think Sejuani does scale well, but due to the ornaments, Ornn outscales her just with his added utility to the rest of the team. Additionally, I think everyone is aware that Xin Zhao has to make effective moves in the early game, otherwise he'll just be absolutely gapped by this Wukong. I really don't like the Rise pick for Cryan here. I think Talia is just a much, much better champion. But I do like the Zeri Lulu over the Sivir Yumi, so we'll see how this draft ends up playing out. I expect, based on the drafts, it to be more favored for V5, but that's also just because it's V5. I think they're a lot better at playing out early games than Ultra Prime are. Xiaolong Bao especially has been really, really proactive in his past few games. Obviously, this series happened before. The last game I reviewed, RNG versus TT, but we saw Xiaohu tearing it up on the Talia in that entire series. We'll see if Rookie has a similar effect. Obviously, Rookie is an incredibly skilled player. I, for one, think he's one of the best in the world, especially this current season. He's been absolutely tearing up the LPL. And we're headed on to the Rift for game 1 of this series. Like I mentioned, both of these teams scale. I'm not really expecting any early game shenanigans. There's no hard engage on any of the champions level 1. Probably just a 5-man split. Hacker is pushing in for some early vision, pushes Rich back. They do know that Wukong is here. He isn't able to get the word on the blue buff, but V5 don't know that. So it's reasonable for them to assume that blue buff is warded. Elk and Fodic having a little bit of happy times in the bot lane. You like to see it. 2 Giga Chads. Just saying hello. Actually, I haven't caught an Ultra Prime game in a while, but I think, is that Mao Nu? I'll have to check the official broadcast after this game and see what the correct pronunciation is. But it seems he's been subbed in. I'll have to also see when that happened. We'll see if him and Elk are able to make some magic happen this game. Both AD carries opting to run Ghost. Obviously, this is a summoner spell that really only works on these two champions. They have insane movement speed scaling just baked into their kits and allows them to really, really kite out pretty much every other champion on the Rift and DPS an incredible amount. Both junglers are opting to start blue side. Xiaolong Bao is going to be pathing towards the bot lane, with Hacker pathing towards the top lane. Both of these lanes are kind of uninteractive. Sari is obviously very weak in the early game and is just trying to farm, and Sivir's just going to be pushing her in. Champion has fantastic wave clear, but due to the presence of 2 enchanters in the lane, I highly doubt any early kills will be trading over. The more volatile matchup, I would say, is probably the Talia Rise. Talia can really put the pressure on this Rise pick due to his low range and high mana costs in the early game. Sejuani versus Ornn can be volatile, as we see Zoom getting a massive trade onto Rich. Both of these tanks are tanks that have lots of max HP damage built into their kits, with the ability to one-shot their opponents very unexpectedly. But at the same time, they are both tanks. I would not expect any solo kills to be coming through. However, Hacker and Zoom seem to be setting up for a dive. Rich should know that this is a possibility. Good sidestep, but unfortunately he doesn't have flash, and that is just a clean kill. Nice first blood for Ultra Prime. Xiao Longbao is able to secure the bot scuttle. He's going back for his Raptors, and I would expect the Krugs. He will be up 2 camps on the Wukong by the time he's done. Probably 1 Wukong should be able to get his Raptors. But still, a very solid early game play from Ultra Prime. Very, very nice to see. Taking a look just across the CS, Rich is punished pretty heavily by that type. Misses out on a whole minion wave, plus some of the early minions he wasn't able to last hit. And there's a big wave stacking for Zeri, but unfortunately Elk has had to give up a lot of CS due to just the combined poke of Yumi Sivir. Quite an annoying bot lane. Pretty much any support that has high range slows with Sivir is really, really frustrating because it allows the bot lane to just permanently space the enemy bot lane. I think the worst one I've had to play against is Ashe Sivir. That was really, really frustrating. Nice little timing on the Q from Rich, but no meaningful damage is going to stick. Zoom's just happy to eat this wave as it comes into him. Jungler's getting started on their second paths. Hacker was able, or excuse me, Xiaolongbao was able to get a ward down on Hacker. They'll see him on this grump. They should know where he's pathing. He'll obviously go up for Wolves after. If he shows on this ward heading down to bot lane, then Photic and PP God will just play a bit more safe, but they see him heading up to Wolves. It's reasonable to assume that he'll just go to his top side and look for another play top side on the bouncing wave. Ricky's got this wave in a nice spot. Good little trade onto Cryan. Ooh, hits the seismic shove. Excellent poke. We'll see if Xiaolongbao is actually in a position to capitalize on this. Luckily, Ultra Prime has wards in the top river, so nothing should come of it. Was Hacker going to hop across the wall? I do think the 2v2 is stronger for V5. Good flash by Cryan to avoid the seismic shove. Xiaolongbao is able to knock up Hacker. Just a massive HP trade in the favor of V5 in addition to the Rise Flash being blown. Additionally, this is really good for Xiaolongbao because he gets to just naturally path down to his respawning bot side. Whereas Hacker Krugs on the red side jungle are very far out of the way. We see, actually, Ultra Prime is looking for another top dive. Rise ult into the tower. We're just trying to keep the minion wave outside, but he is just dead. Really, really excellent play by Zoom in the top side to force such an HP advantage on Rich. This is one criticism I have of Sejuani picks in the top side. I don't really... I haven't played the Sejuani Ornn matchup a ton, but Ornn is a very strong laner, especially into other tanks. And I don't really think the Sejuani has kill threat in this lane. In which case, I hate seeing the Ignite. I feel like a lot of pro players have a tendency to just copy what other pro players pick. I think the Ignite is an excellent adaptation into Gnar lanes and other bruiser fights where you can really get some nice cheese windows in. But in this team comp, I really don't think Rich is going to be able to blow up Zoom or Hacker. He's going to be frontlining for Cryan and Elk all game. I think Flash would have been a lot more valuable in order to flash Glacial Prison or flash Arctic Assault, the squishy carries on Ultra Prime's team. Once again, action settled a bit down. Only 2 kills in this early game. Not the fastest tempo that we've seen in China, but some really solid early game aggression from Ultra Prime. Gets them a solid 1k gold lead by the 7-minute mark. We'll see if P5 can manage to stabilize this game, or if they will end up sort of spiraling and giving away more gold. I expect to see Ultra Prime play for the Herald, just given the topside priority they've had, as well as the early game focus they've been pushing. I mentioned earlier that Xin Zhao wants to play the early game aggressively, which is true. And while the champ does have strong level 2 to 3 cheese ganks, he is really, really strong in the mid game. Once he hits his 1 and 2 item spikes, the champion is really difficult to kill and has a lot of damage that you wouldn't expect. You do see Hacker going for the Herald, trying to see if he can sneak it away. Rich will sniff it out, but unfortunately, Lulu has already rotated and Yumi has not. So it looks like, yep, this Rift Herald is just going to go away to Ultra Prime. Nice timing. They don't even lose any waves or plates to the bot lane. Elk manages to clean those up and then match his base timing. I expect V5 will look to trade onto the Dragon now that they've lost Herald priority. I think that's a perfectly fine trade for Ultra Prime. Cloud Drake has, I think, some very strong power in helping your rotations, and slow resist is definitely nice against champions like Xin Zhao and Sejuani, but it's not the end of the world to give one away, especially for the early herald. As Xiaolong Bao flashes in, nice knockup, and the seismic shove connects. Cryin is gone. Really clean combo. At the same time, clean cancelled by Rich onto Zoom. Both ults traded out by these top lane tanks. And that should dissipate the end of that play. It looks like Ultra Prime wants to make another top dive happen. Rich is able to base and TP. I don't think he should be diveable from this situation, just given that the Ornn ultimate is down. And it looks like Hacker will just take the bot camps away. Rookie's here for the wall. This should force both flashes out immediately. Oh, Zeri gets caught in the wall. That was an odd bug, but either way ends up forcing the flash. I don't know if that's, well, I mean, being stuck in the wall itself is a bug, but the interaction that essentially happened there was Elk dashes over the pebbles from Talia, gets stunned, and interrupts his dash. Whereas normally Zeri would catapult over the wall, she gets stuck. I assume since this is player-made terrain, for some reason the interaction forces Elk inside the pocket of the wall and not on either end. Bit unlucky for him, but a good play by Rookie. Traded back with the Herald play in mid, so some nice plating onto the Rise. Xiaolong Bao goes in. Without flash, this Lulu is just dead. Ghost pop for Elk. We'll see with the Rise rotation if they're able to trade anything back. Both Hacker and Cryin are here, but it looks like V5 is just able to walk this one out. Rookie has the mid push. That's another wave being costed for this. Look at that, even with that bot play, Rookie is still 20 CS up on Cryin. However, conversely, we do have a pretty significant jungle lead in Hacker. He was able to steal away all of Xiaolong Bao's topside when they went for that initial bot play. Oh, nice seismic shove by Rookie. Wow, Rookie and Xiaohu are just incredible on this champion. It's so rare to see them miss it in lane. Just a little bit of jockeying for vision. Unfortunately, V5 hasn't been able to claim this first streak. There will be no early souls in this game due to how long it's been on the Rift, but in the extended play, Ultra Prime was just able to secure the top objective without losing the bottom one, and it looks like they're starting up the dragon now. They might just be able to claim this first one. It'll be really helpful. We'll see what the second dragon be and what that impact will be on the soul. If it's an ocean soul, then we're guaranteed a banger, or if it's an ocean dragon next, we're guaranteed a banger soul for this game. Will be the mountain drake, which means we have the possibility of an ocean, infernal, or hextech soul. All of those really valuable for these comps. Obviously, the added bonuses will hurt both of these mid laners. Opted for the pen builds. If it, no, depending on which team manages to claim the Mountain Soul. With regards to the Drake, Infernal Dragon is obviously just really valuable, but Hextech and Ocean Dragon provide a lot of utility and healing. Both of these team fight comps. I really do think whatever team manages to get the Soul will just win the game. Given the comps at play here. We see Cryin, he's just walking towards the bot river, looking to spot out some vision. Does see the pink ward, but unfortunately his jungler is still on blue buff, and he doesn't feel confident enough to face check the jungle of V5. Another excellent seismic shove by Rookie, catches him with the tail end of that. Really just refusing to miss this skill shot. Hacker and Cryin pairing up, going for some bot lane vision control. They do manage to clear out that pink ward, but V5 has really excellently placed defensive vision. Shouldn't be anything else coming off of that play. I wonder if Elk is going to be handed this grump. Nope, they're just leashing for Hacker because they don't have anything better to do. I really like that. That's a nice little optimization by the bot lane of Ultra Prime. We Hacker, very aware of where the vision is, steps on this ward, so V5 should know that he's here. The ward will get spotted out right away. Ornn is I wonder if he is clearing. Nope, doesn't look like he was taking Scuttle. Perhaps there was a pink ward in the river that he was clearing. Should be back in top to clear this wave. Nice little poke onto Rich. Not that this stage of the game it's going to matter. Fortunately misses the melee minion, but is able to clean up the rest of that wave. Nice and tidy. Nice respectful play by Zoom. We sort of stalled. I expect this second Rift Herald to be heavily fought over. We see Sivir and Yumi already rotating for it. The second Herald was buffed pretty significantly on this patch, an extra 200 local gold for the team that slays it, as well as additional HP to increase the chance of a double charge going off once you summon it. Let's see, Ricky's ulting in the Wukong. Wukong doesn't take it. Instead, the Zeri does, and wow, she just gets blown up by Rookie. I wonder if Hacker had managed to get in it, if he could have flash cycloned on V5. Still really good E by Talia to make sure that nothing else is going to come off of that play. Tower will go down to Rich in the bot side. This should push the gold lead over in V5's favor for the first time this game. They are up one turret now, as we see Xiaolong Bao moving towards the Herald. Ilk is still chunked, so I think this team fight will be quite difficult for them, especially without the Zeri ultimate. Hacker looking to see if maybe he can catch Rookie as he rotates back into top lane. Looks like Rookie and Xiaolong Bao are about to start this Herald. V5 or Ultra Prime should be aware of it. Hacker playing really patiently here, waiting in this bush. I don't think he'll contest this. I think he's waiting to see if V5 will path lazily up to the top side and if he can get a cheese gank off on one of them. It looks like V5 will just be respectful. They're going to go clear their camps and catch their waves, crossing their I's and dotting their T's. Drake will be spawning in 45 seconds. I think Ultra Prime should fight for this Drake. Rookie has only one item. Pretty much every champion in the game has their mythic item. Ornn is actually quite ahead of the Sejuani at 2 items though. So even though the gold lead doesn't really exist, that's a pretty significant power increase, power disparity in the top laners. Zeri and Sivir are both fairly weak at this items, and while I think Xin Zhao and Talia are a much stronger mid jungle at the current stage compared to Wukong Rise, getting the Mountain Soul on Ornn is just really, really valuable, and having the increased resistances will reduce the chances of Elk just getting one shot by Talia in the late game, which I think will be nice. And that's not even touching on the fact that that will be 2 up for the Soul. But we see V5 countering with a Herald in the mid lane. They're going to pull Ultra Prime over here and get set up on the Dragon. Good little chunk. I wonder if this Herald will actually get a charge. Hacker being able to proc the eye there and get out is really huge. Excellent wall by Talia to section off Ultra Prime. Xiaolong Bao jumps in, and Wukong is just absolutely a one-shot. We'll see if the Ornal is able to trade back anything. Sejuani ult onto Cry, but unfortunately no one's able to follow up. Herald is denied the second charge, but V5 sadly win the team fight with Hacker sent back to base. That should just be an easy Dragon pickup for them. Ultra Prime, of course, know this. They're going to see their bot side and just look to catch mid waves. I really think the difference in this team fight is the Talia wall. Obviously, it's a very standard Talia play, but getting both the carries on one side and the rest of the team on the other. I believe Hacker who eats a Talia W. Wow, Rookie is insane. I believe his clone was still down from when he went to pump the Herald Eye a few moments ago as well. Really unlucky for Hacker. I don't think he spotted the Talia W, otherwise he would have flashed it. This goes to show how hectic these fights can be given these two comps and how difficult it is to see every little thing flying back and forth. Elk just looking for some cheeky Zeri poke with the W. Obviously has the crit build, not the AP build. So it shouldn't hurt too much on just 1.5 items. But with crit, it does scale up. pretty quickly. Hacker and Maonu going for some bot vision, giving some safety to this Ornn. Fortunately, Rich is probably too tanky to die. One thing we need to keep our eye on is level 13 for the Ornn. Ornaments have just been unlocked, as you can see with the upgraded Frostfire Gauntlet in his inventory. We'll see who he decides to upgrade next. I would expect the Zeri, given how she's the core of this comp, but at the same time, Zeri is sort of weak until she can manage to get that Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer. So he might opt to upgrade the Divine Sunderer of Hacker, just to give their skirmishing a bit more tower. Oh, Hex Gate right into the Talia W. Really well played around the vision by V5. Lulu and Wukong are just dead, and that will be Baron right as it spawns. That is a tragedy. If this had happened 20 or 30 seconds sooner, I don't think V5 could have gotten it, but that is just the Baron, and likely the game. Ultra Prime really doesn't have any solid wave clear champs. Ryze is too low range to really wave clear into Baron. As we see the Sejuani go in, forces the flash out from Krine and the ghost from Elk. Meanwhile, they're still keeping this Baron leashed. I think Xiaolongbao and Yuumi should be able to complete it, and Rookie is just zoning the rest of Ultra Prime away. Ryze ult and Ultra Prime are really desperate to see if they can manage to get this. We have Spellbook Smite by Ryze. Is he gonna be able to get it? Woo! That is so close. 100 on the Smite, but Xiaolongbao holds it. Really excellent play. Good dodge from Hacker. But at the end of the day, the Baron going over to V5 should be... Obviously, the game isn't over. There are still mistakes that can happen. But the way the game state is so heavily in V5's favor, just given the ability of this team, highly doubt that they're going to end up losing this game. Yep, let's see. Akram in now. Executing in. Faster way back onto the map. I personally love the Hex Gates. They're really, really fun. But seems Ultra Prime had a little bit too much fun there and wind up in the waiting arms of Victory 5. We have a 4-1 split Talia on the side for Victory 5. They should wait and allow these minion waves to sync up. That way, Ultra Prime can't force a 5v4 fight while Talia is still pushing. Nice patience by V5, just clearing out the bot jungle. There are a few flank wards, but unfortunately, flanking isn't really beneficial to this team. Ornn ulting from behind. Oh, as Hacker goes in, we'll see if they're able to blow up the carries from V5. That's Talia down. Yuumi manages to escape. We'll see if they manage to close out the kill on Xiaolongbao. However, Kryan is gone as well as the Lulu. Can Zeri get damage off? Keep your eyes on Elk. If he is able to pop off, then maybe Ultra Prime have a chance, and it just does not seem possible. Sejuani ult flashed by Elk. Photic is going to just back away. But a nice, easily won team fight for V5. While Rookie does die, it's 3 for 1. They honestly could just end the game here. Lulu's death timer is quite short. She'll be up in 3 seconds. I expect actually V5 to just pull away, take this, maybe even catch the mid tower, but definitely secure the Hextech Dragon. It did end up being the Hextech Soul, really, really valuable on champions like Sivir, with the bonus attack speed, really, really just amps up their damage in team fights, and the bonus CDR is no slouch on the rest of champions. We see Hacker is going for a deep vision play. Let's see how this turned out. Hacker flashes on to the backline, gets a really nice cyclone until he's just one shot. Fortunately, Kryan steps up too close, gets CC'd, and is just burned down by Photic. Ornn is quite tanky given the lack of an LDR on the Sivir, but unfortunately he's just in no man's land and dies. And now we see Rookie going for the bot lane. Zeri matching in mid lane. Baron buff is about to fall off. 3.5k Baron power play for the red side. Definitely not a slouch at all, and it's widely set up the game state to be in their favor. Ooh, Glacial Prison nails the Zeri, and that's just a dead 80 carry for the side of Ultra Prime. We'll see if they're able to clear this wave and deny the push from V5. Good W from Zoom to avoid the knockback. V5 does have a super wave to play off in the bot lane, but I expect they're just looking for this mid inhib. Ryan moves over to clear the bot, and V5 is able to claim this inhib tower objective. Nice sidestep from Zoom. That might have been the first Talia W we see miss this game by Rookie. Wow. Nails it on Cryan. Good chunk. Sends him back to the fountain. Obviously, they're in the base, so it won't have... Oh my... Rookie needs to stop. That is... Oh, I can't believe both of them live there. Rookie is on a tear. Holy moly. And the base of Ultra Prime is just left in shambles. And this is probably the worst case scenario. Mid and bot inhib down. Baron will be spawning in 2 minutes. V5 can just play to the top side of the map, slowly tink the towers, and then when the Baron spawns, just rotate over, take a nice, clean pickup. Examining this game from Ultra Prime's perspective, there's really not a way back in unless V5 like heavily mispositions and Rich isn't there for the fight, and Xiaolong Bao isn't in front of his carries, creating space for them. Even with a Miracle Baron steal, I don't think stalling out the clock is necessarily going to grant this Ultra Prime comp an advantage over V5. Maybe with the Infinity Edge, Zeri could be able to one-shot everyone, but I don't think they're going to be able to reach that point. As we see V5 just clearing out the vision. Very clean play. You see that ward by the Baron Pit for Ultra Prime? I actually really like that ward. It's not easy to sweep because it's on the left side, but it means that while they won't see the Baron HP, they will know if V5 moves to the Baron because AD carries usually space to that part of the pit when they're DPSing. V5 is just sieging this tower. We'll see if the wave clear is able to come in for Ultra Prime or if they'll opt to just give this one away. Glacial Prison lands on the Crine, forces the Cleanse Flash. V5 is getting engaged upon by the Wukong. Xiaolong Bao takes heavy damage, but the Yuumi is able to keep him alive. The Rise ult goes wide, and an excellent seismic shove onto Elk. Rich is going to be sacrificed for the sins of his team, but there's supers bearing down on the base of Ultra Prime. They have to reset. I wonder if Xiaolong Bao and Rookie will just force the Baron here. Ooh, Hacker. Very nice stop. Manages to avoid the seismic shove. Ornn is forced to base. I think V5 is just gonna... Oh, they're looking to see if they can catch anyone on a lazy reset. Fortunately, aside from Cryan, everyone on Ultra Prime manages to run back. We'll see how this team fight started. Hacker, it looked like, was able to get a really nice flash ultimate once again and just blows up the initial engage. However, in this fight... Okay, here we are, finally into the replay. So we see them posturing, and Hacker goes for the engage onto Photic, gets a really nice knock-up. The Ornhorn runs over her, and Sivir is just gone. You see V5 in retreat mode. Rich hits a really... Oh, sorry, excuse me. Rookie hits a really nice seismic shove onto the Zeri, but unfortunately sort of baits Rich in, thinking maybe they could kill her. At the end of the day, an excellent stop on the push by Ultra Prime, but by no means are they back in this one. They'll have to find a way to stop this Baron and win the fight. V5 setting up a trap. Glacial Prison lands onto Hacker, but unfortunately the seismic shove is a bit slow and Hacker is able to escape. V5 is keeping the Baron leashed, but they aren't taking considerable damage since the Yuumi was over on Rookie. Alright, looks like they're just going to give up on the Baron for now and transition to the Dragon. Rookie? Oh. A seismic shove over his E at this stage of the game, as we saw on the top side, would just put Elk on 20% HP. This is actually really difficult for Elk. You see he's decided to stall his Infinity Edge power spike to get a more Dominic's regards. He doesn't really think that he can DPS through the Sejuani without it. But unfortunately, the Seri is not going to be a champion for another 10 minutes because of it. As Photic just cleans off the dragon, and V5 move in and steal away the bonsai jungle of Ultra Prime. Ultra Prime is trading back by attempting to reclaim some Baron control. Hacker does manage to successfully clean out their side of the jungle from any wards, but unfortunately, he is not able to get any further than that. Taking a look at the vision, there is a ward on the top side for V5. As I mentioned earlier, I don't really expect any teleport flanks to be of use to either of these teams. The front lines really just want to be big meatballs standing in front of their back lines, soaking up the damage and allowing them to free fire. V5 has finally returned back on the map from the Dragon. They're going to reset up their Baron Vision. We'll see if Xiaolong Bao manages to find that ward. Oh, cleared out with a pink. So we see both the side lanes pushing in favor of V5, so they can just wait, and slowly they'll accrue advantages on the map. Sivir, as always, is just able to absolutely murder the creeps. Ooh, engaged onto Zoom. He ease away, slow comes through. V5 are continuing to go on him, but Zoom is just so tanky. Shirelius is popped by Maunu. I think it's Maunu, but I will double check after this game. I actually think that was a pretty big misplay. I don't think Zoom was in any danger of dying. I think they were worried of another seismic shove coming through onto him. But I do think the Shirelius is really important for this Sari and this Wukong in these team fights. Wave is hit by the Sari Laser and successfully cleared out. Good sidestep by Hacker on the seismic shove. Rookie's just fishing, seeing if he can get some adequate damage poke on the enemy team. Photic is able to start. Ooh, flashed by Photic. The engage goes sour by Ultra Prime. Will they manage to get the Xin Zhao? No, they won't. Seismic shove onto Cryan. Good chunk. And unfortunately for Ultra Prime, V5 has a Yuumi. So even though both sides take considerable damage, Yuumi will just heal and they'll turn onto the Baron. This thing is going to evaporate to the Sivir. We'll see how long it actually takes them to clear it. They started at 3108. Currently at about half HP. Rookie is playing Baby Guard. Ooh, 13 seconds on the Baron timing. Sivir just murders that thing, and Talia wasn't even DPSing. Really, really good zone control by Rookie there, forcing the Wukong to not just run in and attempt to steal. It was starting to look a little bit good for Ultra Prime again. They had a few really good engages by Hacker, but unfortunately, Photic knows what to expect on this last one. Finger on the trigger, instantly flashes the Wukong flash engage. Hacker looks a little bit silly now that his engage has gone wide and he is just blown up in exchange. And it looks like V5 is going to play for these open inhibs. It has been quite difficult for them to manage to get into the base without the help of the Baron, but now that they have it, they should just be able to walk in, claim these two. Getting the Hextech Soul is so huge because both of these AD carries rely on their movement speed to kite through these team fights, and Hextech Soul will just absolutely nullify all the series movement speed advantages. Wow, that Q damage from Photic sends the Lulu back to the base, packing. Excellent wall from Rookie. They just want to claim this inhib for free, and it will go down. Now they'll rotate over to the mid inhib. Rich is getting the wave. Good decision making from Photic, pathing the safe way. Rich is going in onto Hacker. Seismic Shove connects onto Rookie, onto Cryan and Hacker. Hacker goes down. Or ult is traded back, but unfortunately the Xin Zhao ultimate nullifies any ability to trade damage back onto him. Rich is going in. Cryan is just absolutely out of position and dead. Ooh, good W by Zoom, but unfortunately this is just lights out for Ultra Prime. Really clean play by V5. And they're fishing for KDA. Wow, Sivir, Talia are just not balanced at this 3-4 item stage of the game, and a really clean game by V5. Some pretty major positioning errors in those last few fights by the players of Ultra Prime, but excellently played out.